Is Matzah Shabbos Kodesh, and we are catching up the Amud from today. For those that couldn't make it to Shul this afternoon, we are catching up for Shabbos Kodesh, the 23rd day of the month of Kislev. We are almost at Yemei HaChanukah, and Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, we are learning Daf Ein Daled Amud Beis today. On the bottom of Ein Daled Amud Aleph, the Gemara had introduced us to a statement of Rabbah. Rabbah told us that Mulaisa is Sharia. Mulaisa is like tzedakah, right? That was the meat that's stuffed inside of lamb, that's stuffed inside of another animal that wasn't salted. And because of that, it says Rabbah, because we have a principle of Kabbalah Kachpalta, the way that it absorbs the blood is going to be the way that it expels the blood. So the unsalted meat that is inside of the lamb, no problem. If the lamb absorbs any blood, it's going to expel that same blood, no problem. It's all going to be kosher. And the Gemara wanted to know, maybe this would be a good raya to Rabbah, would be from our Mishnah, at least the first shita in our Mishnah, that the way that the Korban Pesach was roasted was with all of the parts of the animal stuffed inside of it, and that would be a dead giveaway. That the whole thing would be mutter. And says the Gemara, no, maybe not, because in that case the animal is angled in such a way that all the blood is going to drain out of the cavity in the neck where the animal was shechted. And that's how the Gemara had concluded at the top of Ein Daled Amud Beis, that came into Igbe Shchita the Mechalchel, made of the Daivi, since the opening of the neck is hollow, all of the blood is going to drain out. So the Gemara makes another suggestion. Name a Messiah, maybe we have another supporting brisa for Rav, for Rabbah. Says the Gemara, Haleva Karim Matzia is Mishnah Maseches Chulin, Haleva Karim Matzia es Dama. The way of eating the heart of an animal is, in order to kasher it, you have to tear it open, and then take all of the blood out of it, meaning before it's cooked. What happens if you didn't tear it before you cooked it? So you can tear it open after it is cooked, mutar, and then it would be mutar, meaning after it's cooked, there's still blood in it, you'd be able to tear it open and wash it out, no problem. All the blood will come out. Says the Gemara, to be allowed, my timer. What's the reason for that? This Mishnah seems to be a dead giveaway. The Kabbalah Kachpalta, the way that it absorbs the blood, it's the way that it's going to expel the blood. By the time it's finished cooking, all the blood is going to be released from the from the meat of the heart itself. Says the Gemara, no, you can't bring any rayas from hearts. Why? Shani lev, because hearts are different. De shaya, because the heart is a very smooth muscle, and because of that, it's not going to absorb. It's not going to absorb. It's not that we're going to say Kabbalah Kachpalta, but the heart is different. It's not going to absorb. Says the Gemara, is that really true? Or maybe included or not? But Vaha Ravin Sava. But there was Ravin Sava. What did he do? It says Tafle How Bar Gozl Rav. He made a some kind of gozla pie, pigeon pie for Rav. I think that's a thing in England, pigeon pie. But he made a pie with this pigeon for Rav. Now, and this was before he roasted it. So he took our pigeon, shechted the pigeon, and then covered it in dough on all sides. He said to him, if the paste tastes good, right? If the dough tastes good, Havli, give it to me. And I would eat it. I'm happy to eat it. Meaning, what's the concern here? Is that the dough is going to absorb the blood that's going to come out of the pigeon. And then he's going to eat the elamai. You have to say that you have a tedakan. So instead of a tedakan, what you have here is a meat pie, right? You've got meat that's shoved into the middle of some dough, and the dough is going to cook, and it's going to draw out the blood from the pigeon, but it's also going to release it. It's going to drop out. It's going to drain it of the blood as well. So the fact that Rav was interested in eating it that seems to be a good indication that Kabbalah Kachpolta. Now, of course, nobody is cooking like this today, but we're trying to understand how does Kabbalah Kachpolta work. It says the Gemara, Hai bi smida de mafer. That is only in the case if you are talking about dough that is very crumbly. That's smida de mafer, that the pieces are coarse and the blood is going to be able to drip out. But if it would be wrapped in tight, then there's no way for the blood to get out. You can't say Kabbalah Kachpolta, and that the blood is going to drip out because there's no way of draining it. Says the Gemara, didn't it happen once that Rava came to the house of the Reish Galusa, the Exelach, which is an excellent word in English. The Exelach means the Reish Galusa was the political head of the Jewish community in Babel. Says the Gemara, what did Rav have there? V'taflulei bar avza, and they made a duck pie for him. Amari said, if I didn't see that it was as clear as glass, if I didn't see that the dough was very, very clean, very clear, I wouldn't have eaten it. I wouldn't have eaten it. If you would think about a kachpolta, that the way that the blood goes in is the way the blood goes out. So my area, kizik, then why does he need to say, why did Rav need to say that it was clear? Even if he didn't see that it was clear, what's the big deal? Meaning, I saw that it was clear, I saw that there was no blood in it. So even if it wasn't clear, we say Kabbalah Kachpolta. That's if that principle would be true. So then, even if it was a brown bread, whatever it was dark bread, and you couldn't see that it was clear, so it wouldn't make a difference. Says the Gemara, no, Hasam b'chiyuta d'shar. There it was made out of fine white flour. You have two issues here. You have the fact that it was fine and the fact that it was white. Therefore, says the Gemara, the halacha is as follows: Dismida, if it is made out of fine flour, Bain asmik, bain loy asmik sharia. If it's smida, if it is coarse flour, which Rashi points out, the mipari, that it's going to break up. So bain asmik, bain loy asmik, whether it looks red, bain loy asmik, it doesn't look red, sharia, then the whole thing would be mutter, because we could say Kabbalah Kachpolta that whatever blood was absorbed, it released and it's dropped back into the fire. Chiyuta, and the redness that's left behind then would just be the red coloring. That's like what we have in meat is like the merl habasar. It's like the red juice, but it's not blood anymore. The chiyuta, but if it is made out of white flour, izig kazusa chiyura. If it is as clear as white glass, meaning it's got to be perfectly clean, shari, then good. Ilai, but if not, then aser. Then it's going to be aser because we're concerned that the blood got trapped inside because the dough was too fine and there was no way of the blood dripping out. Says the Gemara, Deshar Kamachim, but with regards to other flowers, asmik, if it is red, aser, then it's going to be aser. Lai asmik, if it's not red, shari, then it's mutter. Says the Gemara, Hai mulaisa. With regards to the Tedakan lamb, right, the lamb that's stuffed to meat, man the asher, the one that holds the shitas that hold that it's asher to do such a thing, even if the mouth is angled to the bottom, man the shari, and the one that is says that it's mutar, even if the mouth is angled upwards, meaning we're talking about the opening where the meat is stuffed into. So will it be able to drain out or will it not? But if you hold that it's mutter, then you hold that it's mutter even if it is not angled downwards. The hilchasa and the halacha is mulaisa shari. That mulaisa is going to be mutter all the time. Afilu pumel el, even if the opening is on top. The Tosfos here points out interesting that Manda Asar Afilu Pumel Tachas says the Tosfos Aval Gav Da'amrin, even though we just said at the beginning of this whole sugya when we were trying to see a proof from Rabbah from our Mishnah that Shani Beis Shchita de Mechalchel, that our Mishnah is telling us that they would at least one of the Tanaim held that they would stuff all of the innards of the Korban Pesach back into the Pesach. and this would not be a problem because the blood would drain out from the incision of the neck. For Shari says that is even according to the opinion that doesn't hold like Rabbah, that of Kabbalah Kachpolta. Shani Hasam she Hachal Racham, but there the gap is very wide. The opening is very, very wide. That's not the same thing as when you close up the tadakan and close it all in, so that it cooks well. But if you hold that Malaisa is Ishari, then you would assume that any blood that's in there is going to be nifla, is going to be released, is not going to go into the meat by the time the cooking is finished, and whatever goes in is going to come out. Now the Gemara discusses this thing with called umtza. Umtza was a kind of raw meat that they would have for breakfast. The Gemara in Brachas discusses time umtza, that they wouldn't eat umtza until they had gone to the Beis Medrash. So umtza was a raw meat that was unsoaked, unsalted. It was unprocessed completely. Rashi points out here that what exactly is the issue with umtza. Umtza is the asmik chatichas basar. The meat is red, and the redness that's with in that meat. So if you would roast it immediately, so it would be kosher. But there's three things that we're going to be discussing here. One is umtza, which is raw meat. Be, meaning the eggs of a male, meaning testicles of the animal, and mizruke, the jugular veins. Those are the three things that we're talking about. And in these cases, pligi ba Rav Acha v'Ravina, with regards to umtza, beitze, mizruke, there was a machlokes between Rav Acha and Ravina. B'chol hatarakula. In general, in the whole Torah, Rav Acha l'chumra, Rav Acha was machmer, he was strict. Ravina l'kula, and Ravina was mekel. And in general, the principle is we hold like Ravina against Rav Acha, and we are mekel. With regards to these three dinim, we see differently. This is the exception. The Rav Acha l'kula, where Rav Acha was mekel, Ravina l'chumra, Ravina was machmer. And we hold like Rav Acha to be mekel, and they are high umtza asmik with regards to raw meat that became red looking. It looks red. So chatre, you should cut it so that the blood is going to flow out. Umalche, and it's salted. I feel like Dirshu, and then you can cook it in a pot. So you have raw meat that you haven't done anything with it yet, and it starts to begin to look red. It begins to look like it's filling with blood. Says the Gemara, I feel like Shari, you can put it in the pot, no problem. If you wanted to put it on a kebab, meaning to put it in the fire, right, to roast it on the grill, Shari, that's also going to be mutar. Meaning in order to roast meat, is machlokes in the Rishonim how much salting meat needs. But whatever you need for roasting meat, you would be able to roast it still, no problem. You'd be able to roast it with the minimal amount of salting that's required. Shari, that would be mutar. Made of dough, because the blood is going to drip out as a result of the roasting process. Achte gurme, but if you want to put it on burning hot coals, so pligi by Rav Acha Ravina. This is where the machlokes is between Rav Acha and Ravina. Chad asar v'chad shari. One of them says it's also, one of them says it's shari. It's mutar. Man asar, the one that says it's also matzmis samis, is because the fire is going to make it tighten up. Man the shari, the one that says it's mutar meishav shayv, is he holds that the fire is going to draw out the blood. It's going to make it lose its liquid. And the truth is, mentioning in the Chabura earlier today, that certain cuts of meat, when you cook them, they seem to tighten up, and other cuts of meat, when you cook them, they seem to loosen up. And anybody that has ever tried to smoke brisket knows that the truth is both of these things happen. It gets firmer and firmer and firmer, and then it gets and then it gets looser and looser at a certain point in time. Then meaning it once the collagens break down, it depends on the cut of meat. The shayla is with regards to with regards to these kinds of cuts of meat. So this is where the machlokes is. Are we concerned of matmis tzomits that it's going to tighten up and then it's not going to release any of the blood, or are we going to say no, it's going to loosen up and it's going to release all the liquids? We pass on that that it is going to release all of the liquids. Also with regards to male genitalia. So you can cut them and salt them. It probably goes in hot dogs today, but other than that, nobody, I think, orders them on a menu. Certainly not in the United States of America. So nobody is cutting them and salting them, but this is what you would do. I feel like they're sharian. You can even put them in the pot. If you want to put them on a spit, no problem. Meaning whatever you would need to do to salt them slightly, that would be mutter as well. Shari, that's mutter. Made of dive because the blood is going to drip out. Achtinu agurmi, what if you put them on hot coals? So this is the pligid of Acha Ravina. Again, machlokes between Rav Acha and Ravina. Chad, Aser v'chad Shari. One says Aser, one says mutter. Man, the Aser matzmis some is the one that says it's Aser because it's going to tighten up. Man, the Shari, Meshav Shari, the one that says it's mutter, it's going to flow out. V'chein mizukei. And the same thing is true with jugular veins, with the veins in the neck. You can cut them and salt them. And then pop them in the pot. No problem. If you want to hang them on a spit. So this is where things get interesting. If the throat, meaning the place that it was shechted, is to the bottom, so that the blood can flow out, sharia, the whole thing would be mutter. Made of dough because the blood is dripping out. I mean that would be the way of doing it. If it was flipped the other way around, so if the head was roasted with the neck facing upwards, so then this would not be okay because then the blood wouldn't drop out. But what about achta agumre? If you put it on hot coals, pligi Rav Acha Ravina, Rav Acha and Ravina have a machlokes chad atzma chad shari. Same machlokes as we saw before. Man the awesome master summons, man the shari meshav shav. So machlokes are going to tighten up or is it going to flow out? V'hilchas the meshav shav. And the halacha is that we pass it as mutter as long as the cut, the incision is facing downwards, because that way the blood is going to flow out. Says the Gemara, ha umsa the asmik, this raw meat that has turned red. So chale aser, the juice that comes out of it is going to be aser. Meaning whatever liquid is going to drip out of it is going to be aser. Loy asmik, but if it doesn't turn red, chale shari, then its juice is going to be mutter. Ravina says, I feel like asmik nami, even if it didn't turn red, nami chale aser, then the juice that comes out of it is going to be aser, because we assume that's blood. It's impossible that it doesn't have streaks of blood. There is, meaning most of it is just meat juice, but it definitely has a little bit of blood in it. And Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, we will continue with the next piece of Amalei Mar Bar Amem to Rav Ashi, to be continued by Hashem Yisbarach tomorrow. Everybody should have a beautiful Motzei Shabbos and a Shavua Tov Umavarach. Looking forward to Hashem Yisbarach. Seeing everybody tomorrow. We'll probably post the shir sometime after Hadlak Shneres. Have a beautiful day.